Privileged to play for my dad on club teams, 4 years of varsity soccer for Charlotte Latin, and we got to win 3 state championships together. In my senior year, we were #1 in the nation, and then I got to play for the Charlotte Lady Eagles in 2010. But that's enough about me. As the program states, this inductee has been the only head coach for the Charlotte Lady Eagles, which started in 2000. They actually have a record of 108 wins, 29 losses, and 13 ties. He has guided them to 11 playoff appearances out of 12, winning it all in 2001, and was at the tip of winning it 2 other times. How has he done it? I'll tell you how. He makes sure he does everything possible for his players to succeed by traveling to scout other teams, and he makes sure he spends time analyzing every aspect of the game so that his team has the best chance of winning each game. But what sets this inductee apart, above and beyond, is the fact that he is a coach that has earned the respect of his players. He does this by living out his Christian faith when coaching. He exemplifies the verse 1 John 3:18, which states, "Let us not love with words or tongue, but with action and in truth." I can attest to the fact that this individual is dedicated in praying for his players each and every morning and continues to support his players not only on the field, but more importantly, off. He desires to know what players are going through in their lives and wants to help in any way possible. His players are comfortable in approaching him, whatever their need may be. I have even personally witnessed when players call him to talk about life and ask for his opinion on how to handle situations, and they know that he will pray for them. Due to the fact that the players respect him as both a coach and a person, they have a drive to work extremely hard, always giving 100%. This leads to the theme verse for the Charlotte Lady Eagles also being one of his favorite verses, Isaiah 40:31, reading, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." A typical day for this inductee during the Lady Eagle season constantly starts off with a quiet time. He starts off with reading the Bible and then follows with praying. He always goes down the entire roster, including staff, every player and practice player by name, and prays for specific prayer requests. Then he spends time in making plans for practice. He makes sure to arrive at the field early so that he is available in case players need to talk to him about anything, and that he can interact with them in general. Then, of course, he's the last one to leave the field. When the season comes to an end, it is difficult for him to make this transition into not seeing his players every day anymore. At their final game, he delivers a speech that is always overflowing with heartfelt emotions because he truly cares for his players and wants the best for them moving on. It is evident that the players feel this love because they make sure to keep in touch even years after they are done playing soccer. I am both honored and proud to introduce this inductee into the USL Women's Hall of Fame, my coach and my dad, Lee Horton.
Wow, thanks, honey. I cannot even begin to tell you what an honor and privilege it is to be inducted into the USL Hall of Fame. An incredible organization that is celebrating its 25th year anniversary. It is really because of 2 great visionaries that have made this possible for me. The first, Francisco Marcos, who had the vision and ability to conceive and grow this great organization. The second is a man named Brian Davidson, who's already in the Hall of Fame, who had the vision to do the same thing with the Charlotte Eagles. He came from California to North Carolina with $1,000 and a dream to have a professional soccer team and organization that could use soccer to impact Charlotte, North Carolina, the United States, and the world for Jesus Christ. God has incredibly blessed my family and I by Brian asking me to be a part of the Eagles. I've had the chance to work beside so many godly men and women who have all impacted and influenced my life. I assisted Brian with the men's team for several years. Then I started an Eagles youth club for the organization, and then became the first head coach of the first Charlotte Lady Eagles team. From day one, I've been able to coach some of the most phenomenal young women anywhere. In that first season, we ended up playing in the W2 National Championship game, and God has amazed me every season since with what He has allowed us to do. I love soccer, but what I love more is trying to impact lives. There are so many people I need to thank for this award and for helping me to get to be up here tonight. First is my wife, Mercedes, who's with me here tonight, who allows me to be me, who allows me to do many of the things Kristen was talking about, tons of crazy scouting trips where I take off and drive and get back in the next morning, driving all night sometimes, and just the practices, the schedule that I keep as a coach is just amazing, and all you coaches know that, and our wives, it's amazing what they do to allow us to coach this game that we love. Secondly, my children, Kristen and Josh. And Kristen, you don't know how excited I was for you to do this tonight. Next, I want to thank my 3 general managers over the years, Graham West, Ethan Allen, and currently Jeremy Ollier, who's doing a fantastic job. And all these men are just godly men that it's been a pleasure for me to work beside of. All my assistant coaches over the years, and I've had tremendous assistant coaches who've made me look good. And most of all, my players. The players who have played for me passionately and unselfishly, and all in a desire by them to just wanting to glorify God. I also want to thank my high school, Charlotte Latin, and especially my athletic director, Jimmy Broadway, who came with me here tonight. This school has supported me in every way possible to help the Eagles and our Lady Eagles team in particular by allowing us to practice out there and by allowing me to coach period in a season that overlaps slightly with the beginning of my girls' season and then at the end, the end of my girls' season and then the beginning of my boys' season. But the school has let me do that. It's neat for me to have the chance tonight to be inducted with Tim Schweitzer, who is one of the many incredible people in this league. I remember one year that 2 of our players had to go up to Washington to get passports for a missions trip we were getting ready to go on. And the only way we could figure out for them to do it safe was Tim had them come spend the night at his house on the way and help make that trip possible. You know, where do you find that kind of stuff with competitors against each other? Or like Marcy and Doc Lohman, who are already in the Hall of Fame. I remember one year we were playing them, and I've told this story so many times because it's one of the most amazing stories I've known in sports. We played them in the regular season, and they beat us in just a gut-wrenching game that we lost, and it was just unbelievable what we poured into it because it was for the regular season championship. Then we had to go back and play them in the playoffs in order to try to keep going forward. And that night, we were fortunate enough to win a game just like they had beaten us that was just gut-wrenching and just down to the wire, and we won the game. So now we were going to go on in the playoffs, and they were not. We got on the bus that night to go back to Charlotte, and we were about to pull off, and there was a knock on the door. And Marcy is standing there, and she asked me to get off the bus, and I got off, and she said, "Lee, we raised this money to go to the playoffs, and now we're not going. But we couldn't be any more pleased with who's going than the Lady Eagles, and we want you to have this to help with your trip to go to the playoffs." Money from their own organization. Where do you see something like that? You think that would happen in the NBA or the NFL? I don't think so. Unbelievable people. I remember in 2006 when Christine Sinclair was leading Vancouver in the Final Four and watching her play and hoping to get to play against her, But unfortunately, Ottawa knocked us off, and we didn't get to do that. And it followed her career. It's fun to be getting inducted with her. And then the beast, Florence herself, who terrorized us for our Hampton Piranhas all those years, and is a tremendous player. And congratulations to you as well tonight, Florence. It's awesome. Enough rambling on from me. In reverse order, I love coaching, I love my family, and I love my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Thanks for this honor. God has truly blessed me far more than I deserve.